Yeah. Yeah, so last two reviews I did, I uploaded them on YouTube with a Nikon camera, but I don't know what it is. It's like no one's viewing it. Maybe it's because I'm not a popular critic like Chris Stuckman or Jeremy Johns. No offense to them, they're some of the best critics I've seen. But I'm gonna try something different. Instead of recording with the Nikon camera, I'm just gonna record here in my dining room and not in my bedroom. So yeah, lots of movies came out today, but I finally got the chance to check out Last Night in Soho. This is the newest film from Edgar Wright, written and directed by Edgar Wright, and it's interesting is that this is his first soul horror feature. I wouldn't call it horror. I think it's more psychological thriller kind of way. It's in that veering because it's not really full on horror. I don't want to spoil much. I think I only like the third act, but it's more veering on the lines of psychological thriller. So it's sort of that. And just to give a heads up, what I thought about Edgar Wright's films in the past. I'm a huge Edgar Wright fan, obviously. The full Cornetto trilogy, like Shaun of the Dead, amazing. Hot Fuzz, just as good, if not better. I don't know. On days I prefer Shaun of the Dead. On others I prefer Hot Fuzz. But I'm probably more of a Shaun of the Dead guy. I don't know, but I do enjoy Hot Fuzz as well. World's End, of course, I enjoy that. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, obviously, who doesn't love that movie? Now, if you don't love that movie, something's wrong with you. And Baby Driver, which was like my first introduction to Edgar Wright's style, and then I saw some of his other films. I was like, oh my god, this is a filmmaker I'm excited for. And but yeah, Baby Driver, I think is like it was like one of those films I saw in the theater, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. I can't actually see my mouth, and I'm not even in the center frame. I should have used a center frame for me. Um, but yeah. So I eventually was excited when this film was announced. When I heard Edgar Wright was doing this new film, I was excited when it was announced. So anything that Edgar Wright does, I am automatically excited for. And I don't want to go into too many spoiler plot details because with plot details come specific plot points. And much like Edgar Wright's films, this is a film that I would consider the best way to explain this movie is by watching it. Because I think reviewing it, talking about what happens in the movie, doesn't quite do it justice. That's just me, though. But essentially, it follows this girl played by Thomasin McKenzie, Eloise, played by Thomasin McKenzie. She goes on she moves into London, and she doesn't seem to fit in, and her only escape is through the 1960s, to the music of the 1960s, the style of the 1960s, that kind of thing. And every time she falls asleep, during the nighttime, she starts to go back in time. And that's a pretty interesting concept of going back in time. I'm always interested in time travel. So it was really interesting to see that. And, she starts having visions of this, girl in the past, this woman in the past. And, she starts to sort of witness some stuff that might have happened. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave it at there because I don't want to talk about it too much. But overall, what I thought about this film, I guess I am biased because I'm a huge Edgar Wright fan. I really loved it. Would I say this is my favorite Edgar Wright movie? No, not. I think my favorite one is like Baby Driver, obviously, for me. Because Baby Driver is one of those rewatchable action films. But this is quite up there, I think. Then it's the second one. It's in the top five, obviously. If I had a top five Edgar Wright films, I would say Baby Driver's at the top. Then the documentary he did this year that came out on the band Sparks Brothers, which I recommend you check it out. That's one of my favorite movies of this year, Sparks Brothers. Then this movie, then Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and I think one of the three Cornettos. For me, still, I think Shaun of the Dead might be at the top. I don't know. There's some Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead are tied up. But I really did enjoy a lot of this film. I liked the style of this film, interestingly enough. What I like is that this is a very modern film, but there's something interesting that it does with it. Cinematography-wise, it is beautiful. The cinematographer on this film was Chung Hoon Chung, who has recently shot a lot of movies, most recently, who was the cinematographer on the original Oldboy movie. And he shot recently he shot Zombieland 2, and there's the Current War, and it's a very beautifully looking film. It is really well shot. One thing it does do is it's the common Chung Kun Chung in recent years, where it's mixing anamorphic and spherical lenses just for stylistic choice. And there's a portion of the film where modern day it's shot with these spherical lenses, so it kind of looks a little common. And then when it goes to the 1960s world, it's full on anamorphic. Yeah, so there's going to be like barrel distortion, there's going to be oval bokeh, there's going to be lens flares from the time on. And I really like that style choice. And for Edgar Wright's first foray into full psychological thriller, because Shaun of the Dead was kind of a horror comedy, but in many ways, it was a horror comedy, but it was paying tribute to like the George A. Romero films, of the early, like Night of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead, that type of stuff. So that was very interesting. But I know I'm just gushing over Edgar Wright and the cinematography in this. One thing that was really great was the soundtrack. I loved its use of old songs from the 60s. That was really awesome to see. I'm a bit of a nut when it comes to like the classic stuff. There are some new songs I like, but I mostly like the older songs. I don't know what it is. Probably because back then, you look at any band from 60s, 70s, or 80s, but this is 60s, so it's full-on 60s music, which I like that they used the 60s music. It was a very good choice. And also, there's also a separate section of the score from Edgar Wright's usual composer, Stephen Price. It's a really good score. I recommend listening to it. But I would say also, the soundtrack I really enjoyed, but also really the performances. Mostly, like Thomasin McKenzie, she blows it out of the park. I really like Thomasin McKenzie from what I saw in Jojo Rabbit and from what I saw in Old. And I really liked her in this film, She's just so good in this. If she does not get an Oscar, which I'm very angry at the Academy nowadays, I just don't really give a shit about the Academy. But if she does not really get a true Oscar nomination, I'm gonna go full-blown angry. I'm already full-blown angry with the Academy for a number of reasons, but she deserves at least a nomination. Another, of course, Anya Taylor-Joy. She was really great in it, too, as this woman from the past who Eloise, Thomasin McKenzie's character, starts seeing. But, of course, and there's, lots of big-name stars here. For example, we get Matt Smith as this man from the past. We get Terrence Stamp as this mysterious figure. You quite don't know who he is. And you also, in her final film, Diana Rigg, of course, because Edgar Wright is a huge James Bond fan, and he casts a very underrated Bond girl. Of course, Diana Rigg was Tracy Bond in Majesty's Secret Service, and she was really good in this. I loved seeing Diana Rigg in this. Of course, everyone recognizes her more as now as Lady Olenna from Game of Thrones, but that's me. And I really like where the story goes. The story knows how to subvert your expectations, to the point where you think you know what's going to happen. But, I can't spoil the third act. This is why I don't like talking plot points. But, it completely changes, your perspective, your point of view. You see a lot of stuff. And the fun thing is, this film is, because, the character, Thomasin McKenzie's character, she has this thing where it's not everything is as it seems, and that's always interesting subplot. I don't want to spoil it. I can't spoil it. So I would recommend it. I can't wait to check it out. I really want to get this on home media when it comes out. So yeah, I'd say check it out. I don't know if it's on. I think it's still in theaters. Go support this film. Support this instead of that Halloween Kills crap, which I will never watch because. Yeah, so I'm trying to always do something different instead of just reactions, because I feel like that's all I kept doing the past months. And, on October, I tried going out more to garage sales and that kind of stuff. Or, stores. But the selection's pretty mediocre now. But yeah, let me know what you thought of Last Night in Soho. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Where does it rank amongst your Edgar Wright film rankings? This is definitely one of my favorite films of the year, so I'm biased. And I will try and get reviews. I know I really want to check out King Richard and Ghostbusters Afterlife. I have to check those out. And I still have to check out Eternals. I still haven't reviewed it yet. I have to check it out for review purposes. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.